John.
A couple things, John. You keep pointing out that the CBO did not take into consideration phases 2 or 3. How were they supposed to take into account something that doesn't yet exist?
Well, I think that's a question for the House to offer. There are constraints that are put on the CBO in terms of what they can consider. But I think that the point that we want to make is that, and it came up yesterday at the briefing, if members are going to base their vote off a score, they need to understand the totality and the comprehensive nature of the entire program.
The other thing I'm curious about, too, is can this thing, the president called it a big, beautiful negotiation.
Yeah.
People like Jim Jordan say it's a big, beautiful dud. Is there a way to hammer this thing into shape where you can satisfy conservatives, or do you have to, as has been suggested by a number of people, rip it up and start all over again? Because Jim Jordan, just this morning, was saying that the fundamental aspects of what was promised the American people by House members when they ran for election back in the fall, and by the president when he ran for election, is not in this bill.
Right. Well, respectfully, I would suggest that it's gone through 2 House committees that consisted of over 50 Republican members when you look at both committees with unanimous support. So I get that we can't...
Freedom Caucus member on either one of those.
Oh, okay. Julie.
Thanks, Sean. You said earlier that the White House doesn't have projections on how many people will lose coverage of its own. Is that a projection that hasn't been made yet? Or are you saying that the White House is not going to come out with those?
We don't. That's not something that OMB does.
So, but if you're advocating for a plan that you say the president wants to cover everyone, how are you going to be able to assess whether you've been successful if you're not going to project that yourself and CBO's projections you're saying are invalid?
Well, I think that if you look at what the goal is, which is to make health care available to every American, as I said, I mean, you have a choice right now that's either we support a failing system, that there is no choice and that the premiums are going up, or you provide them with a system that we're looking at. Of course, some people are always going to choose in a free society to not purchase something. I mean, we live in a country of 320 million people. At some point, you can't force a product or a good down people in a free society. But I think if you can give them a quality product that serves their needs that they have at the time at a price that they can afford, there's a greater likelihood under every economic model that suggests that that will work. So I think it's frankly economics 101 and basic common sense that dictate that the more competition and the more choice that we institute in this system, the greater likelihood of more and more Americans getting health care is something that is easy.